So students, today we are going to see the aspect of security in distributed operating system. So especially today we are going to see the details of classic encryption techniques, and we are also going to discuss some of the security attacks of cryptography. Fine. So just hold on for a while. Okay, so how many of you have already studied cryptography in your bachelor's, in your BTech?
Yes, sir.
All of you have studied this? Is there anybody who has not studied this subject? Anyone? No one? Okay. So I'll go through this very quickly. So the moment we talk about classical encryption techniques, these are nothing but just the opposite side of your modern key cryptographic techniques. The techniques or the cryptographic techniques we generally use nowadays, these classical encryption techniques are just opposed to these techniques. So why we are going to discuss this classical encryption technique, because they have laid the foundation to these modern key cryptography techniques. So let us see what were the initial development in this. But before that, we need to understand some of the basic key terminologies. For example, what is a plain text, what is a ciphertext. So whatever the original message which we want to be secured, that is treated as a plain text. So the original message which you want to encrypt or which you want to make secure is your plain text. And after applying that encryption techniques or any techniques over the plain text, the text which we get is termed as a ciphertext. Okay, so after applying any security mechanism, whatever data we have in our hand or whatever message we have in our hand, we call it as a ciphertext. And the process which has been applied on this plain text to get the ciphertext is called as a enciphering or encryption. Fine. And apart from that, if we talk about any encryption algorithm, then in order to have any encryption, we need to have two inputs. The first one is your plain text, and the second one is your secret key. So we are going to see what exactly mean by this secret key. Then this is how your symmetric key cipher model looks like. So initially we have our input, then we usually apply some algorithms over that input, and that algorithm may be DES, AES, or some any encryption algorithm. Then after encryption, we send this data or see this ciphertext to the other party. Okay, and then the other party use the shared secret key in order to decrypt the data. Okay, so after decryption, again the plain text data or the message is being provided to the recipient. Okay, so in short, initially, we have plain text, then we apply some encryption algorithms using some keys, then the ciphertext is been transferred to the other end, and then the reverse process is applied by the recipient to get back the plain text. So this is the basic symmetric key cipher model. Now, apart from the initial terminologies, these are some more terminologies. For example, decryption, which is just reverse process of your encryption. That means recovering plain text from ciphertext, right? And this process is called as a decryption algorithm. And again, we have got two inputs in this case as well. The first input is going to be a ciphertext, and the other one is going to be your secret key. And if you want to define a secret key, so we can say it is a key which is used for encryption and decryption. If you are talking about the symmetric one, then we are going to use the same key. If you are talking about the asymmetric key cryptography, then the different keys are going to be used. So at this point of time, we are referring to the symmetric key cryptography. Okay. Then what is cryptography? So you can say cryptography is nothing but a science of studying cipher, and cryptanalysis, it is a science of studying attacks against the cryptographic system. And the moment you study both of these together, then it becomes cryptology. Okay. So these are some of the basic terminologies regarding this. Then ciphers, if you talk about symmetric ciphers, then they can be of two types of symmetric cipher. The first one is block cipher and the other one is stream cipher. Okay. Block cipher means you are trying to encrypt a block of plain text at a time. Okay. So classically, the block ciphers were of size 64-bit and 128-bit, but nowadays we do encrypt a block of 256, 512 bits and 1024 or even more than that. Okay, so the moral of the story over here is we try to encrypt a block of plain text at a time in block ciphers. Okay, in stream cipher we try to encrypt bit by bit. Okay, so a single bit can be encrypted, or even one byte at a time can also be encrypted. Okay, so if very small units are being encrypted, then we can say this is an example of a stream cipher. And asymmetric cipher, over here in this case, we use different pair of keys. Okay, different keys are generally used for encryption and decryption. So this is the basic difference between these two, symmetric one and asymmetric one. So we are going to see this in detail. Then these are the very primitive things. So our classical encryption techniques are generally the symmetric one, and the asymmetric key algorithm generally came into picture in 1970s. And symmetric keys are the ones which are being most widely used. Okay. Then this is how we denote them mathematically. This is the process of encryption. E over here is nothing but the encryption. K is the key and X is your plain text. Okay. So when we apply any encryption algorithm over a plain text X with a key K, then the output which we get is your ciphertext. Okay, so this is how you can denote the whole encryption process mathematically. Okay, this is one of the way and this is the other way. Okay, but both represent the same thing. And similarly, this is how you can represent the process of decryption. So Y over here is your ciphertext, D is your decryption algorithm, and K is your key. Okay, so this is how the process of or the process of decryption can be represented mathematically. Fine. And if we talk about the cryptanalysis, so in case of cryptanalysis, our aim to recover the ciphertext, we aim to recover plain text from the ciphertext. Okay. So to have that, generally two approaches are being applied. The first one is your brute force, and the second one is your non-brute force, which is also termed as a cryptanalytic attacks. So let us see the first one. How can we try to recover the plain text from a ciphertext? So first we are trying to see the brute force attack. So just have a look on this particular table. In this table, we have got few fields like key size, number of alternative keys, time required. If you go with this speed, which is 1 decryption per microsecond, and if you have a speed at 10 to the power 6 decryption per microsecond, then this is the time which we are going to take. For example, if the key size is 32-bit, then these are the number of possible keys which one will have. right? And in order to explore these many keys, one will require this much of time with this much of speed. Okay, get your point? So if this is the key size, then these are the number of possible keys, okay, which one has to explore. It is same like having your pin number in your ATMs. If there are 4 digits in ATM pin, then in order to find out a particular sequence, we need to explore all the possibilities. Okay, so how many number of pin numbers are possible with 4 digits? Any student? How many?
24 or
24.
16.
Just think about your permutation combination.
256.
256. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you that in order to find out a particular sequence, there can be number of possibilities. Okay. So in this case, we are talking about a key size in number of bits. So if this is the bit, if this is the size of the bits, then these many number of keys will be there. This is called as a key space. Okay. And if you apply each and every key, or if you explore each and every key, then this is the time one is going to have. And suppose if we increase the decryption speed, it may possible that we may have some faster computer, then this is the time one is going to have. Okay. And if we increase the key size, let's say from 32 we have jumped to the 56, then with this speed, this is the time we are going to spend, and with this speed, which is 10 to the power 6, this is the time which we are going to spend. Okay. So what we can observe over here is the number of key size is more. If the key size is more, then the number of alternative keys are also going to be increased, right? We can see, okay, with the increasing key size, the number of alternative keys are also increasing, right? And even though we are having the decryption speed like this, then it is going to take this many number of years, right? Which is quite huge. So what we can inference that in order to make any system secure, just increase its key size. Then we can say if we have good enough key size, then the system is secure. But this cannot be a fact. Okay, this is not a fact. How? Because the length of key size doesn't ensure the security. Okay, we'll see why uh, why this is not secure. Okay, the moment we are trying to increase the key size, even after increasing the key size, the system are not secure. So what exactly is affecting that security, we'll see in the coming slides. Fine. Apart from that, we have got 4 types of cryptanalytic attacks. The first one is ciphertext domain attack. The second one is non-plain text attack. The third one is chosen plain text, and the fourth one is chosen ciphertext attack. So these are the varieties through which one can try to extract the plain text from the ciphertext. Okay, so these are some of the methodology where one can offer, okay, I'm going to choose the plain text, then just let that plain text pass through the encryption algorithm, and whatever ciphertext I'll get back at the end, I'll just compare both the things, and then I'll try to analyze how that system is behaving, right? Or it may possible that some of the adversary are choosing a particular ciphertext and the corresponding plain text. Then they will try to analyze the system. So these are some of the varieties, okay, which one can use in order to analyze the encryption process. Okay, so these are the 4 types, and we term them as a cryptanalytic attack. Okay, these are cryptanalytic. Remember this point. Okay, not the security. Then, if we move towards the classical ciphers, then there are two basic classical ciphers which are based on substitution cipher and transposition cipher. Substitution cipher means we are talking about replacing each element of the plain text with the another one, and transposition cipher means we are talking about the rearranging the order of the elements of the plain text. And product cipher means when we mix up these two together. Okay, we can say it is the combination of substitution cipher and the transposition cipher. Okay, now this is the first known classical encryption technique called as a Caesar cipher, and it was invented by Julius Caesar. And in this particular technique, what happened is each letter is replaced by the letter three positions further down the alphabet. So let's say, as we know that we have got 26 alphabets, right? And now if this is the plain text, then this is going to be cipher text as per your Caesar cipher. And what Caesar cipher says that we need to replace each letter by three positions further down the alphabet. This one. Okay. For example, if A is there in the plain text, then what is the three position further down the alphabet? It is going to be from A, it is going to be C and D. Okay, so these are nothing but that you have replaced this alphabet by the alphabet which was there at the three position down. Okay, so A will be replaced by D. So this is how A has been replaced by D, and similarly B has been replaced by E. Okay, so this is how this ciphertext has been obtained. Fine. So this was the example of Caesar cipher. So you can apply this on this plain text. Okay, for example, in case of N, O, P, Q. So N will be replaced by Q. So similarly, the other letters can also be replaced, okay, for this plain text. Fine. Then if you try to represent mathematically the process of Caesar cipher, then this is how you can represent it. Okay, so this is the process of encryption where key is nothing but the number of positions by which an alphabet has been replaced. Okay, and we can show it by this particular thing. Okay, by that means that we have replaced this particular alphabet by this many number of positions further down in the alphabet. Okay, and similarly for the decryption, you can use this notation to represent the process of Caesar cipher. Fine. And we are talking mode 26 because there are 26 alphabet in the English. So if let's say Z is there, then Z is going to be replaced by A, B, C. Okay. So Z will be replaced by C. So that is why we are taking this mod 26. Okay. So it is going to be circularly in fashion. Then it is vulnerable to your brute force attack. We'll discuss this. Apart from that, your one more thing is there which we are going to discuss in detail. Okay, but before that, I'll discuss why that particular technique is not secure. That technique or any encryption technique which is classical one is not secure. Why? Because they are leaving some pattern behind them, and those patterns are very much inherent if we go by any language. So let's say if you go by English language, then we can say that E is the far the most common letter which we use, right? Similarly, there are other alphabets like T, R, N, I, O, A, and S. These are the very frequent alphabets which we use in our English, right? Whereas there exist some alphabets which are very rarely used, right? So this type of patterns leave the trail or leave the vulnerability because of which any message which are adopting conventional key cryptography techniques can be detected and can be break. Okay, so these are the histogram where you can see that E has been mostly used. So randomly any paragraph has been chosen, and from this paragraph this particular frequency has been obtained. Okay, so with this histogram you can say that this alphabet has been very rarely used, this one as well, right? Very rarely used, while E and then T, okay, then A, these are the most frequent alphabets in that paragraph. So apart from that, there are also some letters which have been used along with the other alphabets. For example, T, H are used very often together. H and E are very often used together. Similarly, A, N, I, and E are. And some triple letters are also there, which are very frequently used, like T, H, E, A, N, D, T, I, O, I, O, N, F, O, R. Okay, A, N, D. So the things like this or the patterns like this are very vulnerable, and this is why your conventional key cryptography have failed, even though if we are applying a larger key size. Okay, so apart from that, this is the table which shows the letter frequency, and apart from that, in cryptography the basic idea should be, rather than securing the algorithm, we should secure the key. Okay, in case of Caesar cipher, what was the key? Key was by how many positions we are substituting an alphabet. Okay, in the initial case, it was 3, right? That we are substituting each letter by 3 number of positions. So that 3 was the key. So suppose in some other examples, we may shift any alphabet by 10 or 14. So that 10 or 14 is going to be the key. And what is the algorithm? Algorithm is that we are substituting each alphabet by a certain number of positions. Okay, so that was the algorithm. But by how many number of positions, that is going to be your key. Okay, so in cryptography, the idea is that we do not intend to secure the algorithm, rather we try to secure the key. Okay, so after that we will discuss this one. When we are going to discuss, since all of you already studied the subject, so therefore I am not putting much time into it. But if any one of you have got any doubt in any slide, you can ask me. There is no issue in that. There is very famous classical encryption technique called as a Playfair cipher. So let us see what exactly happened in this Playfair cipher. This is polyalphabetic cipher. There are two types of uh, category. The first one is monoalphabetic and the other one is polyalphabetic. In monoalphabetic, we encrypt one letter at a time. But in case of polyalphabetic, we encrypt multiple letters at a time. Okay, so the Caesar cipher was the example of monoalphabetic. But now we are discussing Playfair cipher, which is the example of your polyalphabetic cipher. Okay, so in this technique, what happened is we arrange all the alphabets in a 5 cross 5 matrix. Okay, then we choose any key such that there is no letter with the repetition. Okay, so in this case, you can say that there is no alphabet which is being repeated twice. Okay, so we will treat it as a key. So let's say this example, monarchy is a key. So first you need to fill all these alphabet of this key. Okay, so all these alphabet have been filled one by one up to here. Then all the remaining alphabets, okay, the alphabets which have been remained apart from this key are being placed one by one. For example, B is not there, so B has been placed. Then C was there, fine. Then D was not there, then the D has been placed. So similarly, all the alphabets have been placed. Okay, and since there are 26 alphabets, so we are accommodating J along with I. Okay, so I and J can be used interchangeably in this technique, no issue. And this is the rule for this play fair cipher. If a pair is repeated later, insert filler like X. Then in second one, if both letters fall in the same row, replace each with the letter to its right. In the third rule, if both letters fall in the same column, then replace each with the letter below it. Otherwise, each letter is replaced by the letter in the same row but in the column of the other letter of the pair. So let's say this is the message. Okay, this particular text is the message. So what your first rule says, if a pair is repeated later, insert filler like X. So as you can see in this particular, first we need to remove all the white spaces. Okay, so we'll assume that there is no white space. This is a single word, the whole sentence. So we can see that here L and L is repeated. Okay, so we will have a filler. So F I L, then X, then L. Okay, then T, then H, then E. So this is going to be my first pair, this is second one, this is third one, then this is fourth one, and so on, so forth. So this is what the first rule says. Okay, we are making pair. If some repetitions are there, then we'll use a filler X. Then let's say we are trying to encrypt Fi. Okay, where is Fi? Here is Fi. So if the letters are falling in the same column, then this one will be replaced by this one, G, and this one will be replaced by this one, which is K. So Fi will be encrypted as GI. So GK. Okay, fine. Similarly, LX. So where is L? L is here. Where is X? Here. So you just need to form a triangle for this one. Okay. So for L it is going to be S, and for X it is going to be U. Okay. So this is what will be the encryption for LX. And this is as per your rule number 4. Okay, and what your rule number 3 says, if both letters fall in the same column, for example, is there a letter LT? No. HE? No. Let's say we need to encrypt letter D and T. Okay, so as we can see, D and T are falling in the same column, right? So in this case, D will be replaced by K and T will be replaced by Z. So this will be the encryption for DT. So this is how the encryption do take place in your Playfair cipher. So this is polyalphabetic. Okay, is there any doubt? Or let's say if you need to encrypt RZ, then it is going to be replaced by R is going to be replaced by D, and Z is going to be replaced by R. Okay, in the circular fashion, the things are going to be there. Okay, any doubt in this one? Okay, so apart from that, there is one more technique called as a Wiener cipher, and in this case, as this is also polyalphabetic substitution cipher. How this is polyalphabetic? Because each and every alphabet is going to be substituted by a different number of positions. Okay, so let's say if the key is security, then in the plain text, first alphabet is going to be substituted by S many number of position, and the second one E number of position, in third one C, and so on, so forth. So for example, if the plain text is this, we are discovered, save yourself. Okay, so if this is the text, and if we have chosen deceptive is the key, so this particular key will get repeated until unless the whole plain text has been covered. Okay, so over here W has been substituted by D number of position. Okay, D means A, B, C, D, 4. Okay, 3. So this is how you can say that W has been substituted by D many number of position in the alphabet, in the English alphabet. Similarly, E by this much, A by this much. Okay, and at the end, this is the ciphertext which you are going to have at the end. Okay, so this is a typical example of binary cipher. Then, of course, if we talk about security, so the pattern over here is going to be the length of the key. Okay, so if you or if the attacker has able to find out the key length, then again the whole thing is going to be very easy for the attacker to guess the other plain text. Okay. Then there is also some techniques called as transposition ciphers. So as we have uh, discussed briefly that in transposition ciphers we just
So,
rearrange the
one
alphabet.
second, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, that for the previous slide, can you explain again? Yes, sir.
Okay. How
Yes,
many
okay.
number of, yeah, see, D. If you just go by the D, then how many number of positions D will be there in the alphabet? Let's say after 3 positions, okay, A, B, and C, you will have a D. Okay, so let's say D represent the number of shift by or the number of substitution by 3 positions. Okay, so if you have W, then apply substitution by 3 positions. So W, X, Y, Z. Okay, by how many position? By D number of positions. What is D? D means 3. Right? If we talk about E, then after how many positions E come in alphabets? 4. Right? So you need to shift E by E many number of position. E means 4. So similarly, each and every plain text will get uh, shifted by this many number of alphabet positions. Is that fine now?
Sir, if we'll talk about A, how will encrypt A? Like WEA.
WEA.
Yeah.
See, this is the alphabet. Okay. And now you have to go it by C many number of positions. Okay. If you go by C, then C is going
Okay,
to.
sir. Got it. Got it.
Okay. So this was all about your binary. And then in case of transposition cipher, we just rearrange the alphabets. Okay. We are not replacing them. We are not substituting them. Okay. So let's say we have a key like this. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to arrange all the plain text in a matrix. Okay, and a key will be given, and then as per this key, these ciphertext will be formed. For example, the key says first use the third column, then use the fourth column, then use the second column. Okay, so as you can see, the first all the plain text has been arranged in the form of a matrix, right? Thereafter, the third column will be used first, which is T, T, and A, right? Then the fourth column, which is A, P, T, M. So A, P, T, M has been written. So this is how the encryption can be taken place in transposition cipher. So this is the example of row transposition. Okay. Then in product cipher, as we have discussed earlier, in product cipher, we use the combination of your substitution cipher along with the transposition cipher. So I'm just giving you the brief of these things because in the next class, I'm going to discuss your data encryption standards and advanced encryption standard. And those are the example of your product cipher. Okay. And those are very important. So we'll cover more time into that one. Apart from that, a cipher can be unconditional secure or computational secure. Unconditionally means no matter how much time, how much space you are devoting it, but attacker will not be able to crack it down. And in case of computer secure, uh, it is hard to break down, or you can say it can be, uh, you can say it is breakable, but it will take a significant amount of time. For example, if you are trying to send a message from one place to another place, or let's say two friends are there and they are communicating, or let's say you are trying to log in to some banking website and you are entering your password, and your session is of 2 minutes only. Okay, so just you want to secure that session by 2 minutes, but the moment one attacker came into picture and he has intercepted your communication, so the algorithm which you have used for this particular communication was computationally secure. That means attacker can get this information, but it will take, let's say, 100 years of time. Okay, but for this particular communication, these many number of years are more than sufficient, because you just want to have this particular communication secure for 2 minutes only, right? So however, this is breakable, but this is going to take very long time, a huge amount of time. Okay, so that is why we are telling that many algorithms which are there are computational secure. Okay, the algorithm is designed in such a way that if anybody try to break it down, then it is going to take a significant amount of time. Okay, so most of the algorithms, or almost all the algorithms, are computationally secure, which we generally use nowadays. Okay, then there's one more technology, one more method called as technography, which is used in the field of cryptography. And in this technique, as you know, in the images, each and every pixel is consist of three subpixels, R, G, and B. Okay, three RGB values are there, and with these three values, any pixel or any color is formed, right? So what one can do, one can just slightly change the pixel value of any color and can hide any information, right? For example, if this is the 50 cross 50 image, that means 50 images have been placed horizontally and 50 pixels have been placed vertically. Okay, and in each pixel there are three RGB values. Okay, so one can change any value, and after changing that value by very low low value, for example 97 has been changed to 96, 128 has been changed to 129, and 45 has been changed to 44. So the changes will be totally undetected. Okay, there will no any significant change in the color. So this is how the people also send the information securely to the other end. Okay, so 0 is going to represent your black color, and 255 is going to represent your white color. So this is how things can also be sent securely, and this is an example of steganography. Then uh, we are going to see some security attacks as well in network security, and it totally based upon this particular code. And what this code says is that the art of war teaches us to rely not on the likelihood of the enemies not coming, but on our own readiness to receive him, not on the chance of his not attacking, but rather on the fact that we have made our position unaccessible. That means if you just want to secure yourself, then you need to prepare yourself, assuming that all the things may attack you. Okay, you should not assume at the time that I'm totally secure and no one is going to attack me. Okay, so if you just want to secure yourself, then you have to be uh, ready yourself. Okay, so this is what has been uh, said in this particular code. Okay, so in network security, there are three key concepts which we are going to see, and these three key concepts are confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So whenever we talk about the security, we are talking about security of data and services. Okay, what we want to secure? We want to make secure our data and the services. And how you can make them secure? By having the notion of confidentiality, integrity, and then the availability. Okay, so these are the triad of your security. So there can be three type of aspects of information security. First one is security attack. Then the second one is security mechanism, that can be detection, prevention, or the recovery. Okay, and then the security services. So threat means a potential for violation of security, or you can say the potential threat which can be there, and the attack means the assault has been happened on the system or on the security of the system, okay, which is a deliberate attempt to evade the security services and to intercept the data. Okay, so this is the potential threat, and this is the actual and threat. Okay, means the threat has been happened and then it is going to be treated as a attack. Okay, then the attacks can be of two types: passive attacks and active attacks. So passive attacks only do not affect the system. So whoever is suffering with this type of attack will ever know that something wrong is being happening to his or her system. Okay, and the example of this type of attacks can be eavesdropping and monitoring. And there can be two types of passive attacks. The first one is release of message content, and the second one is traffic analysis. So as I said, that this type of attacks are very difficult to detect because they are not really making any harm to the system, which can be observed by the system. Okay, this is why they are very much difficult to detect. They just read the message, they just try to analyze the patterns and all. So this is the first type of passive attack. So as you can see, we have got three parties: Bob, Darth, and Alice. So Bob and Alice are the two legitimate parties, and they are trying to communicate together. Okay. So as you can see, Bob has sent some message to the Alice via some internet or some communication facility, and in between Darth has come into picture, and now Darth is reading the contents of messages from Bob and Alice, right? So without your consent, over here Darth is reading your message. So this is also the violation of the security. Okay, and this is your first type of passive attack, which is release of message content, where the unauthenticated person is reading or intercepting the data of the communication. Okay, so this is termed as a release of message content. Fine. And this is the second type of passive attack. Over here again, the two parties are communicating together, and in this case, the Darth is not reading the message, rather he is observing the patterns. Okay, for example, how many times Bob has interrupted Alice in the last month or in the last week. Okay, or you can say at what time they have been interacting together. So what Darth is doing altogether over here, he is trying to observe the pattern. Okay, which is also a violation of security. Okay, for example, nowadays how many times a person is using Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and all those things. If somebody is observing that thing, then this will also come as a violation of security, unless you have given your consent to it. Okay, so this is the second type of passive type, which is called as a traffic analysis. And then the second category is your active attacks. So in this type of attack, the attacker will try to alter the system resources or alter your data. Okay, so it may alter data or it may delete your data. Okay, so there are four types of categories are there. in the active attack, which is a masquerade, replay, modification of messages, and the denial of service. Okay, and these are very difficult to prevent. Okay, so over here the goal is going to be first detect them and then to recover from them. Okay, so let us see the first type, which is the masquerade. And in this type, Bob and Alice were supposed to communicate together, but over here Darth has sent some message to the Alice, and now Alice is assuming the message is being sent by the Bob. So over here the impersonation has been happening, where where Darth appears to be Bob to Alice. Okay, so actually the message is being sent by the Darth, but Alice is assuming that the messages are coming from the Bob. So this is nothing but your active attack type. Okay, and we call it as a masquerade. Fine. Then this is the second type of active attack, which is called as a replay attack. In this case, Darth has intercepted the communication between the Bob and Alice. So after intercepting, let's say it has captured some messages from the Bob sent to the Alice, and then Darth is replying that message again and again as per his will. Okay, so this is called as a replay attack. Okay, where some message has been captured and then as per his intention, the same message is being replied to Alice. Okay, then the third one, in this one, Bob is sending some message to Alice, but this time Darth is actually modifying the actual message, and after modifying the message, it is sending that message to Alice. Okay, so this is called as a modification of messages. And this is the fourth type, which is denial of service. In this case, Bob is trying to access some services of the server, but in this case, Darth is disrupting the services which is being provided by the server to the Bob. Okay, so in this case, Bob is facing some difficulty while accessing the services present in the server, and this is termed as a denial of service. So most of the time, you might have faced this type of attacks on your IRCTC website, right? So 10 years back at 10 o'clock in the shop in the morning, so many of us have faced this type of difficulty. Okay, and this is a typical model for network security, and this says that if you want to send some message from one end to the another end, then you need to apply some secret information, and then you need to apply some security related transformation. So this is nothing but your encryption algorithm. This is nothing but your key. So after applying these two things together, you are going to get some secure messages, right? And then the secure messages will be sent through some channel to the other party. Okay, and again some security related transformations will get applied along with some secret information, okay, to get back the message. And some third party can also involve in the overall communication. Okay, so this is how the model for network security looks like. So this we already discussed, and these are the books which you can refer for this particular topic of security, or particular unit of security. So Frozen can be used, okay, and William Stalling can also be used. Fine. So in the next class, I'll be discussing your DES and AES. Is there any doubt, students?
No, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Doubt?
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I wrote my topic in the Excel sheet, sir.
Okay, just hold on.